Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. I'm still Cedric here in Antwerp. Thanks so much for watching, for tuning in again. Today we are gonna talk about another beer by the Vleesmeester brewery. We've talked about them way back with the limited edition Dr. Decibel. I'll put a link up here. In that video I told you guys that their logo and their name came from a neighbor who popped in and said quite jokingly, like, what are you guys, butchers? Because he had mistaken the malt mill for a meat grinder. And that's why their logo is still a meat grinder, and they are called the Vleesmeester, the meat masters. It's all a big joke. Now, apparently, or so I've read, that neighbor was Philip Geubels, who is one of the biggest comedians here in Belgium and Holland. And he actually also invested some money in the brewery. Now, Philip isn't known as a huge drinker, and even though he has a real dry sense of humor, he doesn't like his beer too dry. And Vleesmeester Brewery brewing a lot of dry and bitter beers like Dr. Decibel or Bitter Bloemen, where bitter is even in the name. He asked, guys, how about brewing something that I actually like, something like a triple? Or he probably asked it like, gasten, kun je niks brouwen dat ik ook geen mag, gelijk een triple? But then again, the brewers answered with something like a triple, so maybe like a triple. And they made up a recipe and they brewed that beer. Now apparently Philip did like it very much, and they named it sort of kind of after him. They named it Zieke Geest, which is literally translated sick mind, but translated freely it's actually twisted mind, which is quite fitting for a comedian, right? I absolutely like this logo again, because they do have this blindfolded sick man, as if he just underwent a lobotomy. And it's quite simple. I love the aquarelle style. The logo is actually a bit harsh on it even. But what we also see is right here, and I will put a label up here so you can see this in detail, is this little logo of a bald head and a thick framed pair of glasses. Now this is actually Philip Geubels' logo, but the funny thing is that he had his eyes lasered a few months back and he doesn't wear glasses anymore. So I guess that the logo should be replaced by just a semicircle. Nonetheless, let's see what this beer has to say. Yeah, pretty much the same story that I just told. So, without further ado, let's have a taste. I am very happy that I finally have my Vleesmeester brewery glass, like Thomas always says. Hashtag proper glassware, Thomas Hogendam. Cheers. You will notice that this is pretty much the same shape as my trusted tasting glasses, albeit a tiny bit bigger. But it's the top that counts, right? Also found it at a thrift shop for 30 cents, so I'm not gonna complain. Cheapest collection ever. The plain blue bottle cap. Funny thing, now that I turned over the bottle cap glass, I see the old Lindemans and Witcap Pater Stimulo caps here again, because they're no longer at the bottom. Memories. Doesn't actually smell like a classic triple. It smells very, very malty, quite yeasty. And I do see quite a bit of sediment at the bottom, so I'm gonna pour this quite slowly. In fact, this is the way that beer should be poured. They always say without clogging and slowly. Give it some time. But of course, as bartenders, we also learn to act quickly and to never keep a customer waiting. So we go in a bit quicker. Now, that does result, I saw some yeast coming up, so I left a large centimeter in the bottle. Pouring too quickly, of course, results in loss of some carbon dioxide, some aromas, but yeah, never very problematic. And with our Belgian traditionals, let's say, we do have enough aroma and enough CO2. Okay, now that I have a larger surface area, I do get still a lot of yeast, quite a bit malty, but a lot more herbal scents. Very curious. Also, look at how clear and golden yellow that is. Some nice white foam, quite thick foam as well, nice and creamy. And I have heard that people compare this to a Westmalle triple, which is the mother of all triples, if you ask me. But so far, this doesn't ring that bell for me. So maybe it's in the taste. Let's have a try. Let's have a go at this. Nope, not Westmalle. At first taste, first glance, I like it. It has a rather high CO2 content, a rather high carbonation level. But this is very, very malty and quite a bit sweeter. Or sweeter than I'm used to from Vleesmeester brewery, not sweeter than a Westmalle triple. If I'd have to compare these to other triples, I'd say I'd compare it to a drier version of the modern triples, like the triple Carmelite and the triple d'Anvers, about which we will absolutely talk on this channel later on. I even have a triple Carmelite sign here, so yeah, it's actually a miracle that we haven't talked about it already. Quite herbal, although as far as I know, no herbs or spices were added. I do know that they've used exclusively Belgian hops, but yeah, that can go several ways as well, of course. We still do produce quite a bit of hops, mainly in West Flanders, around Poperingen and Yper. So if you ever go visit Sint Bernardus or West Vleteren, around there a lot of beautiful hikes amidst the hop fields. I actually find this a quite interesting beer because it comes in quite dry and sweet at the same time. Not too bitter, so mission succeeded. But the aftertaste is actually rather dry. So yeah, as you guys know, I really like that. And if I turn over the glass, you will see that there's still a nice pinky of foam left. So the head of foam, very well, very well made. Still a lot of bubbling in the glass. Nice taste. As usual, if I should rate this, is it my favorite? No. Do I have a favorite triple? It depends. I used to drink a lot of Carmelite, then I switched to triple d'Anvers. Now I actually like Westmalle a bit better. but there's no one triple that I love more. I actually love the entire style of herbal triples. We will be talking about one of those in a few videos. And this is for me a nice average triple that actually dances between those other triples. Also, I believe that it's not the highest in ABV. Let me check. Oh, it is an 8%er. I thought it was a bit lower, but yeah, 8% is pretty good for a triple. So how should I score this? I'd say somewhere around 3.5, 3.75 on Untapped. So a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah. Anywho, let's leave it at that. We are going to talk about a bunch more Vleesmeester Brewery beers if I can get my hands on them. But I probably will. And yeah, I'd say if you guys can get your hands on these, absolutely try them out. I love their beers, and even though this is a very well made beer, I think this is, for me personally, one of their lesser beers, and I'm still giving it a 3.5. So bear that in mind. I love many of these guys' beers. As usual, I'm gonna enjoy this a bit further. I have some work to do. And I will see you guys again in a few days. That will be, Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching. As usual, I'm always very happy you guys tune in. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon as well. You'll get some notifications. And if you have any questions, remarks, tips, additions, whatever, if you're the brewer and you have something to say, because that has happened before, leave something down in the comments, and cheers you guys.